You are now listening to the fastest show on iSports Radio. My name is Darryl Kinsey Jr. Welcoming you to the lap of the extra mile for today, February 11th, 2025. And it is finally time for the Great American Race. And help me talk about all of this, of course, my co-host, Jenn B, Michael Ward.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hope everyone's doing well. If you're watching live on YouTube or Twitter or listening to the re-air on Spreaker, we're going to pay some bills and we'll come back and start the show right after this.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And we're back here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Darryl, Jenn B, and Michael here with you this evening. And for the second time in about a month, the motorsports world's eyes will be focused on Daytona. This time for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. And Jenn, Michael, this is always the most fun part of the year because it's time to finally go NASCAR racing.
Yes. I don't like how he said the same thing there. But go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, I've been ever since the game ended on Sunday, I've been seeing nothing but posts. Football is over, let the racing begin. So I am excited. I'm looking forward to this season. Hopefully there's not too much drama interrupting the racing.
There will be.
Well, the drama is going to start, unfortunately, on Sunday because there is going to be a special guest at the race. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to name him because we're not going to have a show if I get into that with what's been going on the last 3 weeks. So we'll try to just grin and bear it and move on. I will be turning off the TV when that individual eventually works his ugly mug on the TV. And we're going to move on to the schedule now because I'm about to lose this show. So let's go ahead and get into the favorite part, which is the schedule for the Daytona 500 this weekend. And we will start.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Michael's a little bit under the weather, but it starts tomorrow, 10 in the morning. We will have pre-qualifying practice at 10:05 in the morning, and then qualifying for the Daytona 500 will be at 8:15 tomorrow. And this is something that we have asked for NASCAR to bring back for years, is to bring back the pre-qualifying practice. We've seen a couple of teams get caught out by having no practice before the duels on Thursday, just getting their cars set up. But now they'll have that time to make a couple of runs and be ready at 8:15 to go qualifying tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think practice is definitely going to be key for those guys who need to practice, understand the strategy and how their cars are going to run that following weekend. I don't know if practice is here for the entire season. I would hope it is, but it's definitely something that a lot of these teams need.
Well, it's not going to be that hour practice. It's going to be more that the 25-minute stuff that they've been doing, which it's just an eye roll at this point. But it's going to be about 67 degrees at night when they go qualifying, 81 degrees during the day when they practice, which, Jen, is going to create an interesting parallel because you're going to make all your practice runs in the heat of the day.
Right.
And it's going to be cold when you go out to run, which I guess that kind of helps because you have a little bit more grip, but it's going to be a little bit harder to get a bead on what the track is going to give you for qualifying, since you're not going to run. You're going to run at like 10:15 in the morning, and then you're not going to run for a few hours after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that 20 degrees temperature difference makes a big difference. So yeah, it'll be interesting, but it is nice that they are getting the practice in to make those adjustments. Hopefully it will help some of the teams that struggled without the practice.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes on Wednesday. 45 cars going for 40 spots. Up to 5 drivers will end up going home without competing in the Daytona 500. And that is important because Helio Castro-Neves is locked into the field no matter what on Sunday due to the new provisional. If he does not make it in the fastest 40, he will be the 41st starter. If he is within the fastest 40, there will only be 40 starters in the Daytona 500. So we move on to Thursday. We'll get on-track action started about 4:05 Eastern with ARCA practice. The Truck Series will be on the track for the first time in 2025 at 5:05. And then 7 o'clock, the duels at Daytona. Duel 1 at 7, Duel 2 at 8:45. The races to set the field for the race. And usually one duel is the more laid back race. The other duel is the insane race. Who knows what we're going to see on Thursday now that these duels are actually going to matter with how many cars are down there in Daytona.
Yeah.
I think they might be a little toned down.
We'll see. There's going to be a lot of manufacturer games to trying to get their car in and keep another manufacturer's car out. We've seen that over the last couple of years, although NASCAR seems to be finally cracking down on all of that. How much that's actually going to work, we have no idea. But after they set the duels on Thursday, of course, we go into Friday. And that will start our first actual race. That'll be at 7:30 in the evening. The Fresh from Florida 250 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The Cup Series will practice before that at 5:35. The Xfinity Series will also have their first practice at 4:35, and trucks will qualify at 3 o'clock on Friday. The truck race is usually the race where you get remember a few years ago when they wrecked like 100 cars at Daytona when Dale Earnhardt Jr. put up the gif from Fairly Odd Parents of them shoveling money into the furnace. That's what this truck race usually ends up being, unfortunately. Got a lot of inexperienced drivers taking to the high banks on Friday. Going to be a lot of mistakes. Going to be some wrecks that just don't make a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, the truck series also tends to put on some fantastic finishes at Daytona.
That they do, and hopefully they won't have to shovel too much money into the furnace.
I hope not, but
I would,
knowing
I
the
would much prefer them to shovel that into my pocket.
I wish. Unfortunately, knowing the truck series, there's going to be some vehicles getting upside down. It's a lot of the young guys making their first crack at a big track, and it's going to be a show. I'll tell you that much. On Saturday, February 15th, we get started with qualifying for the Xfinity Series at 10 in the morning. Then we'll have the Daytona ARCA 200 at noon. That race will be on Fox, and you want to talk about a series that puts on some chaos. ARCA has had some of the most head-scratching Daytona races I think we've ever seen in our lives. And it's kind of toned down over the last few years, but ARCA, it's a lot of drivers. They're only going to run these big tracks twice this season. And Daytona, so crazy. Daytona, always crazy. So we will see how it goes with the ARCA 200. And then the penultimate race, the United Rentals 300 NASCAR Xfinity Series. And Jen, this race is always, who's going to stop Austin Hill from just winning this race at a random?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
It is always the problem with not the problem, but always in the Xfinity Series, Michael, when it comes to these type of races or with the super speedways, it's always like 3 or 4 other drivers that you think are going to win. Usually Sheldon Creed is up there before bad luck hits him. And then it's Austin Hill wins a super speedway race in Xfinity.
Yep, lol. Lol is definitely right.
He is Thanos when it comes to plate races in Xfinity Series. He is inevitable.
Because he's just that inevitable.
Yep. And then Sunday is the big show, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Pre-race starts at 12:30. The Daytona 500 on Fox, the Great American Race, the Super Bowl of NASCAR, anything you want to call it. They're going to roll off. In this race, it's going to be 400 miles of a chess match, and then it's just going to be 100 miles of the Royal Rumble. That's the best way I can describe the modern Daytona 500.
When it gets 40 to go, everybody, good luck.
Somebody at the end of that deal is going to end up winning. And yes, they're going to have the easiest road to the playoffs from there, but nobody cares. There's a Harley J. Earl trophy on the line, and somebody is going to be going home a champion.
Yes. And hopefully we can make it through more than 5 laps without a crash, maybe.
I think we'll make it more than 5 laps. It's just those last 5 laps are going to take like an hour.
An hour.
Like 3 times. 6 hours of Daytona.
Yeah. Like the first
Green,
180
yellow.
of those the first 180 of those 180 laps to this race always goes fast. It's the last 20 that always take forever.
Yes.
So we're going to get into a little bit more of that on the other side of this break as we start breaking down the races for this weekend and a little bit preview of the undercard series they're going to be running with NASCAR this weekend. Sit tight. It is a NASCAR packed show as we are ready for the biggest weekend in NASCAR. Speed Week is here, and we'll be right back after this.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And we're back here in the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Darryl, Jenn, and Michael here with you this evening. We are getting ready for the start of the NASCAR season. As we just went over the Speed Week schedule, now we're going to get a little bit more into all three series. Ooh, let me get that off the screen. Here we go. And we will start still a little bit with the Daytona 500, and we're going to start with the drivers still looking for a win coming into this race. And there are a lot of Hall of Fame caliber drivers that have still not won the Daytona 500. Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch come to mind immediately. Kyle Busch, unfortunately, is in the Daytona 5 or is in the Dale Earnhardt spot of the Daytona 500. He just cannot find his way to victory lane in this race.
Yes, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, no, he can't. And I mean, maybe after the crappy year he had last year, this is his year. Maybe he can figure it out.
All right. Well, what I was about to say was, see, Dow, now that you said something, he's going to win.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, he's only been trying for 20 years now to win this race with no success. And I think he's lost it much like Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's lost about every way you can. And I don't know how you come back from it.
Take somebody out.
Pull an Austin Dillon.
I mean, unfortunately, Eric Almirola's not in this race, but yeah, you're coming down the backstretch in the last time, the last lap. That right rear on somebody else looks very tempting if you're trying to win the Daytona 500. But you go down the list of drivers that still haven't won this deal. I believe we're still waiting for Chase Elliott, NASCAR's most popular driver, to get one of these.
It's a lot of good drivers who haven't won this race.
Bubba Wallace, of course. The thing with Bubba is that he's either second or he wrecks, and it alternates when it comes to the Daytona 500. He wrecked last year.
So he's going to come in second this year.
Well, I hope he goes one spot higher this year.
He'll finish first, and Kyle Busch will finish second.
Yeah. I mean, I'll enjoy that, even though Kyle, yet again, doesn't win the Daytona 500. Martin Truex Jr., who's going to be back with the number 56, going for, and he lost one in a heartbreaking fashion to Denny Hamlin a few years ago. How big would it be to see him, his last race, walk off with a Daytona 500 victory?
That would be pretty great.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got the guys that just got here, still looking for one. I think Shane Van Gisbergen, if he picked up one, the house would burn down. If he picked one up, Elio Castro Neves, 4-time Indy 500 champion, I think he'd join Mario as the only one that's won both 500s, Indy and Daytona. So that would be cool if he could pull that off as well. And then Daniel Suarez, maybe not a Hall of Fame caliber driver, but for reasons we're not going to get into, it would be very, very cathartic if he won this race.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
It would
Very.
very well be.
Well, if any of those drivers are going to pick up the win, they have to survive the last lap calamity that has become the Daytona 500 and really plate racing in the Cup Series in general. And like we talked a little bit before the break, Michael, I'll start with you. For whatever reason, that 40-30 to go mark, all of the smart racing that happened for about 2.5 hours before then just goes out the window.
Of course, Darryl, you gotta go. You gotta go. I can't stay stuck behind these guys for like another lap. I gotta go, man. I gotta get to the front.
I mean, I get it. You're trying to win the Daytona 500, but at the same time, you can't make it if your car is upside down on fire. Shout out to Clint Boyer. And I feel like a lot of times you see guys way too early make moves that are ill-advised, and they end up upside down. And a lot of people try to say it's because of the new format, at least when it comes to Daytona. I don't think it's as much as the format as it is everybody wants to win this race, and the cars are so much closer together. You have to start moving people out the way. And unfortunately, it causes problems.
You know, just refer back to that Rolex 24 poster. Just, you know, the BMW saying move. and then the Corvette also being popped up saying move. That's basically what you're gonna have to do.
Well, it's more of the Corvette showing a middle finger.
There will be a lot of those.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of upset drivers at the end of this deal. And yes, for the playoff, because we're going to have to talk playoffs, or the chase, which is a better name, by the way. A win here on Sunday makes it a lot easier to get into makes it a lot easier to get points for the chase because you're locked in the rest of the way.
For the Nextel Cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember Nextel, though?
Yeah, that's actually my YouTube name.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but the fun fact is because I was like a teenager when I made it, I tried to spell it all cool, so I took the E's out.
Wow.
But no one pronounces it Nextel when they read it. They just say NXTL.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
which I just don't correct people on it, but it
fun,
is.
Fun fact: I had the little NASCAR themed walkie talkies when I was young.
I wanted one of those.
Yeah, I had the Tony Stewart one.
Those commercials were always hilarious, especially the commercial when I think at this point it was Tony Stewart and Jeremy Mayfield that were beefing, and like Jeremy like backs his trailer into Tony's car until it's absolutely ruined. I'm also very old because I remember that commercial.
I know exactly what commercial you're talking about.
Yep.
Good times back when commercials had flair.
Yeah, and hopefully going into Daytona, we joke about the calamity. What we don't want is a situation like 2020 where Ryan Newman almost loses his life coming to the end of that deal. Those are always the wrecks that are terrifying, and we're just hoping that's a fun race, but we also have a safe race at the end of the day.
Right.
Yes.
And of course, that 40-30 lap to go mark at Daytona is usually where the big one's going to happen, where we collect 10, 15, 20 cars. And when that wreck happens, any of those guys in the back, your spoilers, let's be real. Your Carson Hosevars, your Chandler Smiths, your Cody Wares, they might have a chance to steal one because half the field is gone.
Yep.
Although I don't know if Cody Ware will be a popular winner, but he will certainly be one of the winners of all time.
You know, just hopefully this happens at like lap 40 and not lap 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big one on lap 1 would not be very fun.
No.
Although it has happened before, where we've had a wreck wipe out half the field. It did happen at the very start. It was actually the largest wreck in modern NASCAR history at Talladega. It was 2001 Xfinity Series race. And basically the entire field wrecked on lap 3.
That's a boring race.
Yeah. There were obviously no cautions after that. So hopefully we will not see that when the race comes to an end on Sunday. But if it does, I hope it all happens behind Bubba and he ends up picking up the win. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Trucks and Xfinity Series, talk a little bit about their races on Friday and Saturday and their seasons coming up. So sit tight. We'll be right back here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies,
And your one-timers,
you wicked wristas.
and be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
And we're back here in the Extra Mile IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Darryl, Jenn, and Michael here as we get into the Xfinity and Truck Series racing that is scheduled for Friday and Saturday. We will start with Xfinity. We will get into their season as a whole. This is going to be Justin Allgaier's title defense year. Finally, we get to say Justin Allgaier defends his title in Xfinity, the lifer. Basically in NASCAR's second series. Finally got his championship last year. Now he's got to try to contend with that dreaded potential for a championship year hangover.
Yeah, he's going to have to deal with that. And, it might not be so bad. He could definitely maybe pull up another challenge. We always like to see past championship drivers put up a challenge to defend their title. So hopefully he can definitely do that and avoid a championship slump this year.
And Jen, I think it's Junior Motorsports picking up their first win. They're going to have their first attempt to have their first car in a cup race this weekend with the Daytona 500. A lot going well for them, and Allgaier would be great if he can just have a great year, really a consistent year, 1 to 2 wins. That's usually just an Allgaier style. Pick up another championship, or at least get back to Phoenix, which is not a guarantee as we've seen in recent years.
Yeah. But it took him this long to get there. Hopefully he can stay on top.
Mm-hmm. On the other side, we got Austin Hill, everyone's favorite Xfinity Series driver, trying to be the one relevant driver at RCR, to be honest, and try to pick up the win. You've got 2 cars from the Haas factory team. It's going to be a stacked field of Xfinity veterans trying to chase down Allgaier, and it's going to make it a lot of fun. The Xfinity Series usually does put on really good racing on Fridays or Saturdays whenever they race. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see them in action again. And hopefully we only have a little bit of controversy. This is going to be the last year we get to call them Xfinity, by the way, as Xfinity not re-upping their sponsorship deal after this year. They will remain in NASCAR, just not as a series sponsor.
Every time you get used to the names, they change them.
Yeah. And that's kind of why NASCAR is trying to move away from that, because once you get used to calling the series a certain name, well, then the sponsor changes.
Yep.
Perfect example of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Sorry, the Craftsman Truck Series. See? They are also starting their season on Friday, and I say youthful experience for this series because you got a lot of young guys in the truck series, but they are gaining experience. So slowly, some of these guys are becoming veterans. Your hope is that they are not going to have some of the issues they've had over the last couple of years in the truck series, where some of the races have they've been ARCA levels of bad. I think we can say that, but you've got the young guys, they are experienced, but at the same time, they still have the potential to make the mistakes that make you go, what was he thinking about?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what you get with youth now, especially nowadays.
Yeah. You always enjoy the truck series. Last year, 2024 Craftsman Truck Series went to, give me a second, 24 Truck Series went to Ty Majeski, finally picked up his first NASCAR championship. He had Corey Heim, who had a great season, ended up second, and Christian Eckes, who I think everyone had on their bingo card, is finishing third. Winning the championship, was a regular season champion after a strong regular season, ends up third. I think Eckes is the driver that's going to be driving with a chip on his shoulder. He is going to want to win that championship that he really thinks was his last year.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was his last year, but as they say, you don't know until it's over.
Yep. And of course, the DC native Raja Karuth will also be in the series next year. Dominated at Las Vegas to pick up his first career win last time out. I think he will be expected to go one step further and hopefully get to Phoenix, as he was close to getting to Phoenix last year. But going into this year, another year with Spire, with the sponsorship from Hendrick Motorsports, going to expect a lot of good things from Raja Karuth this year.
Definitely can't wait to see what he's all about this year.
And with that going on at with the NASCAR Cup Series ready to get going, we do want to keep an update on our other series. We do have IndyCar coming up March 2nd, 18 days away. Formula One, we should start getting some liveries this week. The swearing, Rana, and I saw Jen roll the eyes there, and I kind of agree, because the swearing thing will not go away. Like now, apparently, Ben, who will just not leave well enough alone. Like he's dug this hole, Ben Salim, and he's hit rock bottom, but he's still shoveling dirt out of there. Like I don't know what he's digging at this point. Now the whole, he's digging out magma from the Earth's crust at this point. Now they're talking about shutting off the microphone or the radios because the drivers keep cursing. Yeah, that's safe.
So they can't talk to their pit crews?
I don't know.
I would imagine they have to. How else will they know when to pit?
This story,
Pinnacle of motorsports,
the story won't go away because the person running the show is an idiot, much like some of the stuff we've seen over the last 3 weeks. So,
Bernie Eccleston.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see somebody that would make me want Bernie Ecclestone back, but hey, Ben Salim, he is the walking embodiment of it can always be worse.
Oh.
So other than that, the NHRA Pro Stars event was this weekend as well. I don't know if anybody caught that on Flow Sports. I caught a little bit of it. I was actually in the middle of doing my own commentary for the Saturday Night Hydroplane League as Cy Bowen picked up the Division I championship. But it was a fun little event to whet the appetite for Gainesville in a couple of weeks. Ron Capps ended up picking up the funny car win in the Pro Stars event. So always fun to see the Nitro cars getting out there to run, and cannot wait to see them run this year as well. Going to be a stacked field in the Nitro categories, and Pro Stock, always a close event. And of course, when it comes to the bikes, Gage Herrera still fast. And gonna wonder how long we're gonna have to take a pool between us and Larry on when Matt Smith starts threatening to leave because he can't beat Gage Herrera.
I mean, it'll probably be the week before the first race.
Would like to point out they put 10 extra pounds on that bike and Gage still won. So Sean Reed picked up the win in Top Fuel for the Pro Stars event out of Nitro. Pro Stock went to, let me see if I can find that here. Let's see. Coughlin Jr. ends up picking up the win there in the Pro Stock round. So congratulations to Jack Coughlin Jr. For picking up the win from the 6th spot in the pro categories of the NHRA, or not the NHRA, sorry, the SCAG Power Equipment Pro Superstar Shootout, which is basically the Bud Shootout, but for the NHRA. So it's nice to see that race. They will start at the end of the month as well in Gainesville. So it's going to be an exciting weekend of racing. The Daytona 500 is finally here. Make sure you check that out on Fox. Jenn, Michael, I will be blowing up the Discord and Band and Twitter and Blue Sky to talk about it with all of you as we are finally back here with NASCAR.
Yep, the meat of our season has officially arrived.
So we're going to get out of here. We will be back on our regular day, I promise, if it will stop snowing. So I don't have to do my day job in the middle of the night. We will be back on Monday to talk about everything, on President's Day, to talk about everything that went down in the Daytona 500. Hopefully it'll be a great race. Certain people won't make it all about them, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes.
So for Jen and Michael, I'm Darryl. This has been The Extra Mile. We will see you at the next green flag. Good night, everybody.